Hi guys, welcome to week 2. You're doing awesome so far. I'm so proud of you. You may have noticed that zeros have gone in for last week's missing assignments, so now's the time to go back and do those one or two assignments that you've missed. It'd be much easier to do them now, to go back and do one or two assignments than it would be, to wait for a couple weeks and then try and make that up. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's assignments and see what you have to do for this week. Okay, so here's our course homepage, and if you notice, I've been putting the week 2 tasks to complete here, so this should break it down on a daily basis in kind of more of a calendar format, what you should be doing each day. Remember, it's important to be doing these writer's notebook entries that are in green here as you go, because those are helping you to kind of brainstorm for these assignments that you're doing. So I've had a couple students ask about this writing assignment creative nonfiction draft and what you're actually supposed to write for that. So I will go over that in just a second. I also want to reiterate the importance of this important course schedule. It's the same thing, only a little bit different format. And I've broken it down, by day here as well. And I've just highlighted all of the assignments. I haven't highlighted the writer's notebook entries. Like right here, this writer's notebook and chopping your own tree. I didn't highlight those, but I highlighted the major assignments because you could always, it wouldn't be ideal, but you could always go back and do the writer's notebook entries at the end of the unit because if you notice, you have to turn them in at the end of each unit. And so you'll be submitting those on Friday because we're wrapping up this creative nonfiction unit this week. Okay, so for the creative nonfiction assignment, I put together this little help document and I'll be K-mailing this to you guys. Um, Sometimes I build this into the course, but I didn't really have a whole lot of time to put this class together since I got access to it 3 days into the block. But so just know that there are going to be some things that we have to work through together because it's just not the best that I could do as far as putting the class together. So if you ever have any questions about anything or how to do something, please just ask. Again, remember that my contact information is clear up here on the top under teacher contact information. Um, Sometimes the best way to get a hold of me is either K-mail or texting me, and here's my number you can text me at. My phone is in the basement, and so when it rings, I don't always hear it, but that's my phone number and my extension. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this help document again. Okay, so for the creative nonfiction assignment, you'll be writing 2 to 3 pages double-spaced, a creative nonfiction story. Here are just a few topics you can choose from because you've been working in your writer's notebook this whole time and you've been brainstorming some of these things. So that second writer's notebook, I think it was, called You and Your Generation. So far, what are some shaping and defining events that have happened and have affected you and those around you? Significant events like these can become the basis for strong personal writing. So I did this once. I took a creative nonfiction class and I wrote my one of my creative nonfiction assignments on September 11th and the attacks and what I was doing and how it affected me personally throughout that day. Obviously, you guys may not even remember that, so you can pick another significant event that has kind of shaped your generation. Maybe not as big as September 11th, but something else that was going on, that's kind of shaped you guys. Nature writing, go outside and observe nature. This is another one where you can just kind of describe a day, where you're outside and all the things that are going on. And it's kind of interesting, like A Bug's Life, the little kids movie, is kind of based on watching and observing bugs. So maybe go to a park and pay attention to the things that are going on around you. Maybe write a little event about some squirrels that are fighting over something. And I know that it's cold right now, so it may be not the best time of year to do some nature writing, but that's an option. Remember that nature includes things that can be experienced and observed in the city as well as in the country. So all of you should be able to find a little area of nature to watch. Pay attention to insects, animals, plants growing through the cracks, birds, potted plants, rainwater, all the little details that you normally may not notice. A conversation. If you're able to, have a conversation with a grandparent or an older relative. Before you meet with them, prepare a few questions that will get the conversation started. See what you can find out about them and their life. So it could maybe be more like an interview, only just writing about the conversation, maybe more or less interview style, and just kind of telling about their lives because Oftentimes your grandparents or maybe even great-grandparents, if they're still alive, their lives were so different from what we know today. Unchopping your tree. Think about something that you've done that you wish you could undo, something that you've broken that cannot be fixed. This could include an argument with someone you care about or a favorite item that you've lost. Um, how might you write about putting it back together? So if for some reason you had some kind of an argument with a friend, is there any way that you could fix this? And what might that look like? And then your place is another option. Describe a place where you feel safe. What is it that gives you safety there? Describe it. See where your description takes you. Describe a place where you feel free. This kind of reminds me of Bridge to Terabithia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book or that movie, but those two friends kind of had their little place that they went and they imagined all of these things happening there. And so that's kind of where this is going. It's creative nonfiction because it's really supposed to be nonfiction, so it should be factual events. But you can get creative, and the Bridge to Terabithia idea where they're kind of exploring these mythical places that are just happening in their head. They're making all this stuff up. So that's where the creative part comes in, is while you're telling the factual evidence, you can put that creative spin on it, and maybe some of the minor details might be made up. Like for example, when I did my September 11th writing, I didn't know exactly what clothes I wore that day, but I did describe what clothes I put on. So I just kind of made up those little minor details. So in addition to it being 2 to 3 pages double-spaced, your creative nonfiction essay should include showing, so sensory details, hear and smell and see and touch and taste, and really try and focus on hitting all of those things. While taste might be difficult, you could still work it in by saying, chewing on peppermint flavored gum or something, and the way that you kind of drool when you think about the gum in your mouth or something like that. So try and get all of those sensory details in there. Figurative language like similes and metaphors, a basis in fact and evidence from research. So you may want to, like when I did my September 11th writing, I had to do some research on what exactly was going on at what time and point during that day. Structures that is thought out as the best way to present meaning. Theme, tone, voice, and point of view. So it probably will be written from your point of view since it's your nonfiction piece. So first person point of view, saying things like I believe or I did, whatever. Here's some information on how to double space because your writing needs to be double spaced. In Microsoft Word or OpenOffice, whatever you use to type, you'll highlight the entire thing, and then up at the top, and you can kind of see it right here on mine now, it's got 2 arrows next to it, and you can click on that and then click on 2.0, and that will double space it. Another way to do it is to highlight everything and then right click and go to paragraph. So if I was to highlight all of this, I could right click and then go to paragraph, and then in the spacing category I can select double space and then hit OK. So hopefully that kind of helps you get started with your creative nonfiction piece. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you guys in Class Connect on Friday morning at 8:30. Have a great week.